Hey everybody, it's Mr. Haswin again in another episode of Things You Should Know Just by Being Alive. And today I'm going to talk about the last founding father to serve as president, Mr. James Monroe. Now, Monroe isn't usually the flashiest guy in the history books, but he didn't write the Declaration. He didn't duel anyone on a cliff. There's no Broadway musical, but let's not fall asleep on Monroe. His presidency was one of the most important defining when it comes to defining American identity. So let's rewind a little bit. So anyway, Monroe was a Revolutionary War veteran who served under George Washington. He was wounded at the Battle of Trenton, and that's the one where Washington crossed the Delaware, right? Monroe was there. He later studied law under Thomas Jefferson and became part of the Virginia political machine that dominated early American politics. Now, let's get to the big stuff, right? So Monroe became the fifth president of the United States, serving from 1817 to 1825. Now, this is probably what you should remember from, your early high school history, the era of good feelings. It sounds like a vacation brochure, but it was actually a time of relative national unity. The Federalist Party had collapsed, and Monroe basically ran unopposed, and it helped him preside over a period of reduced political tension in American history. He even won re-election almost unanimously in the Electoral College in 1820. But don't let the good feelings fool you. It's kind of like, Pax Romana, Roman peace. It wasn't completely peaceful. But under Monroe, major issues kind of started bubbling up here. Slavery, westward expansion, and also sectionalism. One major moment was the Missouri Compromise of 1820, which tried to balance free and slave states. It was a short-term fix for a long-term crisis that would explode decades later into the Civil War. And then there's the Monroe Doctrine. That's a pretty big deal. In 1823, Monroe declared that the Western Hemisphere was off limits to future European colonization. In simple terms, it was, hey, Europe, stay in your lane. It was a bold move, asserting U.S. influence in Latin America and then laying the groundwork for future American foreign diplomacy and foreign policy, I guess. Now, the United States didn't even have the military power to enforce the Monroe Doctrine at that time, but that overall attitude kind of stuck, and it was America starting to act like a global player. Monroe's presidency represents a turning point from a revolutionary generation to rising nationalism and internal conflict. His calm demeanor kept the ship steady for a while, but there were storm clouds on the horizon. Fun fact, Monroe died on July 4th, just like Thomas Jefferson and John Adams before him. He was the third president to die on Independence Day. So yeah, Monroe may not get the type of hype of a Washington or a Lincoln, but he deserves your respect. I mean, he held the line during a time of transition, helped define American foreign policy, and was one of the last revolutionary giants to lead the nation. All right. So anyway, thanks for watching.